An enterprise market is a mosaic. From afar, it looks like one cohesive image, but step closer, and you will see a constellation of smaller pictures. Laraki says that most founders get caught up on the buyer and assume there's just one. As consumers, we think about one buyer and one seller, he says. But in many industries, with healthcare being an extra complicated version, the process of making a purchase decision and acting on it can be more complex. It's worth being flexible about which buyer you want to sell to. The most impactful learning will come from going into excruciating detail of how a purchase actually happens. Who influences, who decides, who sets the price, who sets the terms, how the transaction actually occurs, and how you get paid. This is what you have to untangle, he says. By unpacking these factors, Laraki learned that the reality of the healthcare industry was far more complex than what most people see on the surface. The thing what makes healthcare difficult is that the beneficiary of your services are regular consumer humans. The economic buyer is either the healthcare plan or a self-insured plan by big employers and the governments. And then there's the clinician, he says. Selling into healthcare requires all those incentives to connect. Everyone likes to say incentives are aligned with patient, but the reality is that's not the case. Laraki shares an example. We were very naive about how insurance works. You and I could both have a Blue Shield card, but you could on an individual plan and I could be on a self-insured plan with a big company. And in reality, it's actually the big company that's the insurer and Blue Shield is just the administrator, he says. That introduces a very different dynamic around what you want to pay for and what's worthwhile.